One of the things I want to talk about is, I'm sure you all have probably heard about it. It is a new movie coming out next year, and it is called The Book of Clarence. Now, many of you also know that Jason and Dear Woke Christian is just getting out of the sin bin as it relates to YouTube. And YouTube has just got me out of the sin bin where I'm no longer being penalized like they were doing. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was the book of, hopefully you can see that. There we go. The Book of Clarence. However, the trailer is instantaneously demonetized. And what that means is if you play a clip from it, they will demonetize your entire video. So if you play a 10-second clip from the Book of Clarence on your video, your entire video, even though it was 2 hours long, can be demonetized. And because I'm just getting out the sin bin anyway, I don't need them to have another reason to take down my channel. So I did destroy the video and remove the audio from it and try to make it a little bit less appealing. And they still demonetized the video I did. I put it up just to see what would happen, and they still demonetized it. So I'm not trying to put Dear Woke Christian in that place today. I ain't got no time for that. So we're just going to go to the Vanity Fair article. All right, I see a couple comments here. I'm going to just put some stars on it. We're going to come back. So we're going to go to the Vanity Fair article. We're going to read this. And I know there is going to be a ton of pushback on this movie because I don't see what's appealing in it, truth be told, in my mind. I don't see what is appealing about this movie whatsoever. However, I know there's going to be a ton of pushback, and y'all can't see that. Jason, they're not going to be able to read that, man. That's a little better, not much. All right. So I'll just give you a synopsis of it. So this gentleman right here, and apparently he's a famous actor who was in The Harder They Fall. I do admit I'm not really big on movies, so I don't know exactly what role he played or the movies that he's played in. However, the gentleman that we can see him looking here with the twisted dreads, the dreaded afro, that's Clarence. And apparently he's living at the same time that Christ is in Jerusalem during his 3-year ministry in the Galilee area. And he's following around, kind of imitating Christ and trying to become the new Messiah. And just a couple of things to take away from, and I really do encourage you, if I could, I would play the trailer, because the trailer really answers a lot of these questions. One of the problems I noticed is that literally just about everybody in this movie is black. And what I mean by that is black African. They're dark skinned like me. Okay, fine. If you want to say that Jesus was black, I disagree with you. Okay, not a problem. We're going to give you that. But the vast majority of this movie was either highly melanated or less melanated people. There really was no in between. Now, if you can imagine, the highly melanated were the good guys, the disciples, Christ, Clarence. The less melanated people, the Romans. There was no real middle ground. There was no middle ground in the video at all. So this has been called blackwashing, where literally you go so far above and beyond to focus on ethnicity that now the video doesn't even make sense. But don't worry about it. It don't make sense any other way either. Let us keep going, Jason. How'd I do this? Okay. All right. So this character, this I dare I say Clarence, but let's just call him Clarence. Clarence here is somehow or another being tied in with Christ, but he's not Christ. They're not trying to make him Christ. They make him similar to Christ, and he's imitating Christ and he's doing fake miracles, so on and so forth. So now he gets in trouble with the Romans. At what point do Christians stop putting up with this is my question. At what point do we say, hey, this is not cool? Because there's no way in the world this would be going on about Muhammad. There's no way in the world this would happen with again, like Buddha. They wouldn't be doing Buddha like this. So why is it that Christ gets treated like this? Of course, this is supposed to be Mary Magdalene. I'm sorry. Mary, the mother of Jesus. Please forgive me. At what point do we say, okay, enough? At what point do we say we've had enough of you mocking the faith in order for laughs and giggles or other nefarious purposes? Of course, Lou Shakune from Seek Things Above TV did an outstanding review of this, and he drew out a lot of the producers. Like Jay-Z is a part of a part of this project. Is that happenstance that they're mocking Christ with Jay-Z as part of the project? Is that happenstance at all, or is that just a coincidence? Okay, got it. And I do find it just intriguing, and it's the end of the article. I'm not going to worry about reading it. I'm going to drop the link in the description because I really did think it was going to show up a little bit. And it's user error. It's not anybody else's fault. It's Jason's, because Jason got a new computer and doesn't know how to use it. So I just dropped the link down there. If you want to check out the Vanity Fair article, I think it's definitely interesting and something worth checking out. But at what point do Christians say we've had enough of you mocking the Christian faith and say, you know what, we don't want, this is not going to happen anymore? At what point? Now, we already know how this is going to get played out. Christians are going to say they don't want to watch this movie, and they're going to immediately yell and say, well, it's because it's a black movie, because it depicts black characters, or it's been blackwashed. And that's why the only people that don't like it are the people of the less melanated flavor. That's what's going to end up being that's going to be the game. That's how they're going to play it, and it's such like that. And don't fall for that. Don't fall for it. Thank you so much, Eladio. Thank you. The trailer already has 4,500 upvotes and 12,000 downvotes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what ratioed means, this is being ratioed. When you have almost 3 times as many downvotes as you have upvotes, that is called being ratioed. And this movie should be ratioed. But there has to be a point where we as Christians say, you know what, we've had enough of this. We're not going to participate in this anymore. And no longer support this type of mockery. Because again, there's no way in the world, there is absolutely no way in the world that a movie mocking Muhammad would have made it this far. But see, we've allowed this for years upon years upon years. So we as Christians do bear the brunt of this because we've allowed it for so long. But at some point, you're gonna have to just say, okay, time out. It's over. It's enough of this. At some point, we're going to have to say, we're done, no more, and stop supporting this type of foolishness that mocks our Lord. Now, if you want to mock Michael Jordan, mock away. If you want to mock Enron, or you want to mock even the president, knock yourself unconscious. Have at it. But at some point, we're going to have to say, yeah, this one's off limits. But we don't support the mockery of our Lord. Now, I will say this, from the trailer, they don't show Jesus's face. And I want to say, hey, you know what? That's kind of interesting. So are they trying to keep it salient? Now, granted, as a black man, you can see his skin of his hands and so forth, but they don't show his face in the trailer. I don't know if they do in the movie. That's neither here, neither there. However, they did try to not do that, which I think we can say is like they're trying not to violate the second commandment, but there's so many other things that they do, even in the trailer, that, for mocking Christ's miracles of healing a blind man, walking on water. They mock it quite a bit. So it's not there. Yeah, sure. You didn't break the second commandment by showing Jesus or depicting him. Okay, got you. You didn't did everything else though. So don't get beside yourself. Don't break your arm, patting yourself on the back, man. So I just think it's interesting. I do hope and pray that we as Christians will begin to stop supporting stuff like this, just in the name of entertainment. Just because we want to be entertained, we are willing to be mocked and ridiculed for said entertainment. That's not acceptable. And at some point, we should say, enough is enough. I really believe that many people have said enough is enough. In several other instances, in many other ways, ask Bud Light, ask Disney, ask all these other places that went woke and went broke. Okay, why don't we say, hey, you know what? This is a lap too far, and we're not going to put up with it. We're not going to support it. I don't know if it is Sony. I think it is a Sony picture. You know what, Sony? Kick rocks. We don't need you. Because there is a misnomer that many in the corporate entity kind of miss. We really don't need you. And I think if we as Christians realize that and say, you know what? I don't really need this product. I don't need this. They need me. And they need my family, and they need my church community and others to buy into their product. We need to realize, like, we don't need that. We don't. And because we don't need it, we can give them the old heave ho. We don't have to subscribe to that. We don't have to sit there and put up with the foolishness that comes across as entertainment, all because why? Because we're willing to be entertained. We want to be entertained. We don't have to do that. There's no reason that we should. And I pray that my brothers and sisters, Mary says this, hope I got it. We're afraid to bring attention to it if we push back. That's fair. And I'm willing to look, I don't have all the solutions, but if you follow me, you know that I did a deep dive. I had a lot of fun dunking on Disney. Okay. And I said, all you got to do is just stop going. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. You don't have to turn it into protesting outside and carrying signs and picketing, because most of us, that's not what we're about anyway. I'm not about it. Okay. However, we can just say, you know what? I just choose not to support that. I'm no longer going to support that streaming service because it doesn't represent my values. That's all you have to do. Sure. Getting 50 other people or 100,000 other people to do likewise, hey, that's a big deal too. But you could just, you know what? I choose not to do it. If somebody asks, no, I just don't watch Netflix. I just don't watch it. That's all you gotta do. Why don't you watch Netflix? I don't watch Netflix because, and explain it. Clear and salient. You don't have to be foaming at the mouth. You don't have to be a rabid, crazy person. Just say, no, they don't represent Christ well. They make a mockery of my Lord. He who bled and died that I might live, they're mocking him. Nah, I'm not going to participate in that. I'm going to keep my little $9.95 or whatever it is now. I'm going to keep my little money to myself. Sure, you're not making a big splash. Okay, fine. No problem. That $9 can go very far in my household, so kick rocks. Okay? But I think we can, first of all, I think we're really minimizing the impact that we have. If you just told your Sunday school, like, hey, I'm going to stop doing this. I really felt convicted of supporting these things that make a mockery of our Lord. It's just, I chose not to. And because of that, I'm done with it. There you go. Withhold your little dollar. I mean, again, it's not the amount. And that's the thing I think many people don't realize. It's kind of like when you give a couple bucks to a political campaign. They know that those little couple dollars are not going to do anything. But it's the support and the enthusiasm that you bring to it because you did give a couple dollars. Or if you give a couple bucks, if you give your children money to put in the offering plate. Okay, fine. You gave them $1. You gave them a couple quarters, change at the bottom of your purse. It's not really a lot, but it's the encouragement that they get to know that they're a participant in what the church is doing. And then when they hear the monthly deacon report that the church was able to help this at-risk pregnancy or support these senior citizens and helping them with some maintenance around their home. Those kids now know that they were a part of supporting and in some way or another being a blessing to those other people. Yeah, they only gave 50 cents. That's irrelevant. They gave something. And I would dare to say it's the exact same thing in this regard. Sure, I don't know how much movie tickets are now. Sure, I don't think many people are going to miss my little $18 movie ticket. But I bet you Disney sure wish they had my $18 now. Ask Disney Marvel, ask Disney Star Wars. They sure wish more people would come and watch their movies. I'm not making a big fuss out of it. I don't go around telling people that I'm protesting Disney. I'm protesting Marvel. Nope, I just don't go. I don't watch it. If I come across it and maybe I watch a couple clips on a YouTube video, whatever like that, okay, fine. But they're not going to get a dime from me. They're not going to get a dime from Jason. I try my best not to get any dimes to him at all, as best I can. But I think if we tried that and just did that, and this movie, I think, is going to be a great testament when it fails, when this mockery fails. They're going to hide behind the racism. They're going to hide behind only people that didn't want to go see it are racist, whatever. It's just a trope. Don't let the name calling bother you. Let the fact that you remain faithful to Christ. Because again, if they did this movie for a 6th century goat herder, if they did that, then call me. Let me know when they do that. Let me know when they do it for a 6th century goat herder. Okay, then we can talk. They're not going to do it, but they will do it for Christ, and that's not acceptable. So hopefully, you all understand and you can get behind it. I mean, check it out. Check out the trailer, and you decide for yourself. I think if you see the trailer, I think a lot of your questions will be answered. A lot of them, and I do hate that and I think that's part of why they probably were copywriting the trailer. And if I can find a way to do it, then I will. I'll come back on. If I find a way, or somebody says that you can't watch, you can do it, you can't play it, I'll come right on back and do it. But yeah, I think that would be key for us as Christians to stop allowing the culture to negatively and, dare I say, even blasphemously impact the church.